Alright, and welcome back. This is going to be the final video of the rudder construction. As you see here, I'm preparing this metal bar to try to shape the forward end of the rudder, the leading edge. I went down to Walmart and purchased a metal handled shop broom and cut off the handle, and am now drilling holes, match drilling with the holes in the skin of the rudder. I've seen several or watched several videos of folks trying various methods to do this. Common one being either PVC piping or metal pipe, such as this. So the instructions call out a 3/4 inch to a inch diameter rod of some sort, and then taping it and forming the leading edge that way. I decided to use the Cleco method and just drill into the rod that I bought, and then Cleco the skins to try to force it. It's not the easiest thing, especially I Clecoed all 3 sections of the leading edge skins to the pipe at once, and so it was a lot to try to manipulate, and to manipulate uniformly across all 3. So it's takes a bit of elbow grease. I'm not sure how much I like the results of what I was doing or what I did, but I think that ultimately I may end up trying it again. I was able to get everything riveted together, and it looks well enough. I did not take the templates to verify the shape is in accordance with the templates, so that's something I still need to do. And if it's not good enough, then I can always drill out the rivets, the blind rivets, and redo it. So the instructions talk about doing it just like I'm doing here, basically applying force down and towards the spar. The reason for that is if you try to shape the skins while the skin is on top, then you run the risk of basically creasing the skin along the spar. So what it discusses is basically putting down force against the table and then rotating towards the spar to try to minimize the chance of putting a crease in the skins. So going through this, like I said, I did it with all 3 sections of the leading edge skin attached, and it takes quite a bit of force to manipulate and bend the skin. So I might, like I said, once I look at the templates and see how close I am, if I redo it, then I'll probably do each section individually because it'll just be easier to manipulate. It ended up taking quite a bit of force. So this is exactly what the instructions tell you not to do, and that's when I flip the skins over. You run the risk of creasing the skin. So like I'm doing here, you want to fold the skins inwards, but also apply downward pressure towards the tabletop so you don't crease it. So I end up working several times, trying to twist and form the leading edge, and I got them close, and then you'll see me take the pliers with the flat edges on them to fold the leading edge, the skin that sits on top. You want to fold the edge of that skin in so that it doesn't pillow out when you apply the rivets. So you'll see me do that. And then one thing that I did here, just because I was so focused on trying to get these things together. I skipped the whole Cleco part, and that was that was my biggest mistake. But I went straight to pop rivets, and I think that was a big part of my struggles. And I think, like I said, I think it turned out okay. Still, there's only one or two spots where I didn't quite like the outcome, but like you see me here, I'm folding the skin for the side that's going to be overlapping the other surface, just so you can try to minimize that pillowing effect. But you see me just trying to muscle everything, trying to shape the skins, trying to fold them to get the correct form. And then I pull out the rivet gun and just try to get that first hole caught. And from there, it's a battle trying to get the next holes lined up. And I may have, that one rivet right there is one spot that I'm not very happy with. But the rest of them came out okay. But that one had a little bit of a pillowing effect between the rivets. And again, I think it would have helped tremendously if I would have actually Clecoed everything and then riveted one at a time. But no, this whole process wasn't the easiest, and I want to say part of it's probably because I didn't shape it quite enough, and then the other is it's just not an easy process. So when I put the rudder up to the vertical stabilizer, that'll kind of tell me more than anything else if I need to make adjustments. Because one of the things I'm kind of worried about at the moment right now is the leading edge. If it sticks out too much, in other words, I didn't flatten it enough, is it going to get in the way of the hinges and not have enough clearance between the rudder and the vertical stabilizer? So when I get those put together, I'll kind of look at it a little more, and I'll probably have some folks come over and take a look at what I did with the rudder and see what they think. And like I said, if nothing else, I'll just take out the blind rivets and re-twist it. But looking at it, everything said and done, like I said, it doesn't look too terrible. So the rest of this is just muscling the rest of the leading edge here. I was fortunate enough to be able to get multiple angles on this. I'm trying to implement that a little more often. As I've said before, this camera angle, the camera I'm using here, doesn't have very long battery life, and so I may end up getting a second camera similar to the other angle, because I can run that continuously, just plug it in and run it continuously and not have to worry about a battery. This camera, unfortunately, I'm not able to. And then also, I think I have some tripods in my storage shed that I'm going to grab and try to get some closer shots of what I'm actually doing, the work that I'm actually doing, instead of being an overhead shot, being a little more up close and personal. So as of editing this video, I should say, I'm currently working on the horizontal stabilizer. I've got the rear spar complete with its hinge brackets assembled. Waiting on a part for the forward spar. I had to reorder the spar and one of the braces, and unfortunately I ordered the wrong brace, so I had to call again and get a new brace reordered. I'm hoping to have that sometime midweek after New Year's. And then once I get that in place, I don't think that the horizontal stabilizer itself is going to take all that long. It seems to be a fairly simple piece. The elevators are going to be a little longer. There's a little more involved work with those, specifically with the trim and all that kind of stuff. But I think the horizontal stabilizer will actually go by pretty quickly. As I think I've said before, I think that I'm actually going to be a couple months ahead of schedule on the empennage kit altogether. Anyways, I think originally I was planning for October to be complete, but I think it'll actually probably be closer to midsummer, June, maybe July timeframe, before I'm complete with it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to pay for this as I go, so that by the time I'm done with the build, it'll be free and clear. But we'll see how that works. It's always the goal. Whether or not it actually happens, that remains to be seen. So finally getting the rest of these the skins here done up and riveted together, and that's with the exception of the fairings, that's a complete rudder.
All right, as you can see, I had a bit of a struggle with that. Definitely not easy with one person. Even with using the broom, metal broom as the, still could only get so much twist out of it with the broom, and even with a wrench to try to get more twist out of it. So probably going to try it with a second person maybe next time around. Try to figure a way to get a little more leverage. Perhaps I've seen some that they glue or somehow attach a socket wrench to the end of a PVC pipe and use that method to get the torque on the tube on the PVC pipe. But overall, not too bad. There's only a couple spots, for instance, right here where it kind of pillowed out a little bit, and that's also, I think, because of how I initially got it hooked. I think that kind of messed with the metal a little bit, but still overall, I think it's not too bad, and probably have someone give me a second opinion on what they think of the final shape of it. If nothing else, I can always drill these back out, try to shape it some more, maybe get a little more twist on the edge here. But one of the things the instructions talks about is as you are twisting the metal, to be careful not to put a crease at the edge where the spar is at. And I don't really feel like there's any form of a crease. Maybe at the very top here, but I think it's very minimal. But the reason that it talks about it is that it could cause some stress-related cracking later on. So, like I said, I'll have someone look at it and give me their opinion, see what they think. But other than that, the trailing edge came out very well. From what I can see, it's really, really straight. I'm pretty impressed. Again, that's another component that the instructions talk to as far as being a cause for concern to make sure you get it right. So I think overall, I'm happy with the rudder, and we'll continue on and see what the next step is. All right.
And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and let this video wrap up. Like I said, overall, I'm happy with the way the rudder turned out, and we'll see once I start putting the fairings on and attaching it to the vertical stabilizer how it turns out. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied. So again, for those that continue to watch these videos, I appreciate you dropping in and taking a look. Hopefully someone out there is influenced by this and will make the decision to build their own. It's not as difficult as some may think. So we'll see you next time around.